Welcome back for another episode, and for today's video we're going to talk about micromanagement, but with a twist, so stick around. Hey there, I'm Krystal B. Thanks for sticking with me. I'm the author and life coach at Moving with Meaning. So we're going to keep the life coaching series moving on, and today we're going to talk about micromanagement. But first, we're going to define that. So, micromanagement refers to a management style characterized by excessive control, close supervision, and involvement in the minute details of tasks or projects. Now, as for me, I'm not a micromanager. I like to create an environment of autonomy, creativity, openness, and transparency. That's not to say that I don't set expectations. There's definitely got to be accountability and order, right? So I like to classify micromanagement in 3 different depictions. So the first one is the manager role, and that's basically any role that has direct reports reporting to them. The second one is the employee, who actually prefers being micromanaged. I know that seems like way out there, but that does happen, and there are people who actually like to be micromanaged. And the third, I would call business process management, and we're gonna just stick with the top 2 today, the manager and the employee. The business process management piece is more about improving quality and installing better practices amongst the team. So these things are all, to me, a culmination of different perspectives of micromanagement. And I don't like to isolate it to just the actual manager, because as a lead in that particular role, it needs to be a little bit more fluid and adaptable to these different types of styles, because you never know when this will come up. So I will give 2 examples from me personally dealing with as a manager and as an employee. Number 1, the manager role. I remember being early in my career, and I was working with a particular technology that no one really knew about, and I was really kind of on my own with this. No, there was not going to be anyone to ask any questions, so I was really, generating this particular skill set on my own, and the whole team really was just leaning on me to basically keep things going. So in this particular case, I had sent off and created something, and I sent it off to the end users for them to basically test it. They came back with a bug, and I was going through fixing it. My lead, who was not a micromanager, but he noticed that it was taking me a little bit longer than I normally do to resolve issues and fix these things. And he asked and called me to his desk, and he said, hey, I just wanted to let you know I'm cool with everything that you got going on. I just noticed that you were taking a little bit longer. So do you want to sit and have us work together and talk it through, and then maybe I can help figure things out? And he might have saw a look on my face, and he said, or I could just leave you alone and let you figure it out. And when he said that, I was like, you can leave me alone and figure it out. And I mean, it was fun. It wasn't said in a negative way, but I just took that particular option because that's how I work. And it wasn't that I didn't need any help, because I like to ask for help. It's just when I need it. And in this particular case, it was just a lot going on, and I had my thoughts already put together, and I had already gone through certain scenarios. I did not want to have to start that all over again and explain that. And he just basically said, okay, well, I just wanted to let you know that I'm here for you if you need anything. And that's important about not being a micromanager, because you're able to create a breath and a space for those employees to really grow and tap into their potential, do problem solving, and figure out when they can ask for help, or when they figure out that they need to, they've exhausted all those resources. But also for you as a lead to basically present yourself in a supportive way and let your employee know that you are there, you're there to be supportive of them, and that you recognize them, right? And I really appreciated that. So the second one has to deal with employee. And in this case, I was the lead, and this was someone who reported to me. Now, this gentleman was a phenomenal developer. He could program really good, really fast. And so I was really excited to have him on the team, because I'm like, wow, our productivity is going to go sky high. So when he came onto the team, I basically gave him this document that I basically outlined and just kind of said, hey, this is what you need to code. Just code it line by line and go off with it. If you have any questions with it, reach out to me. And 2 days later, I checked him and said, hey, how's things going? He's like, well, I didn't really start yet. And I was like, oh, is something wrong with the document? And he said, no, I just don't know how to really start this. So I said, oh, okay, well, let me do this. And think of it now, he might not have been exposed to anything as structured or well documented that way. He might have been working in an environment where he basically did that particular work and never had a lead present that to him. And that has its good and its bads to it, because when you're actually putting that design together, you're getting additional information that really, need to really create a level of context behind what you're building. And some people are able to work in the space without the context. They don't need it, like me. A lot of times I don't need the context. I just will do whatever I need to do. And other people, they kind of need a little bit of background. And so I might have done him a disservice thinking that, hey, I've done all the work for you, you need to do this. I don't know. But in that case, I did tell him, I said, oh, okay, well, no problem. Let's do this. If you don't mind, you can sit next to me and I'll read everything out. You can ask me any questions and then we'll go from there. And let's see how that feels, okay? And he's like, oh yeah, sure. And when I tell you this guy could code as fast as I could read the statements, he really could. And at different points, he would stop and ask me certain questions. So this helped us really, understand the technology a lot better and its limitations and things like that. It helped him understand the context behind what we were doing, as well as what people in his particular position look for and what kind of questions they have. So I grew in that space as well. So I really love being a macro manager. And I think that really creates a space for independence and creativity and helps them learn to do different problem solving techniques as well as making decisions. That's the only way that folks are going to grow. And so even in this particular case, I did coach this individual to kind of basically how they could basically groom themselves into being more independent and operating in these different environments, because you never know how someone else is going to operate, and you need to be able to take things as they come and adapt to them, right? There was other ways that you could have gathered that information and things like that, because sometimes I may not have had the time. People don't always have time like that. So it's definitely a learning process for all of us, right? And I just wanted to make sure that I really drew those distinctions out there. And I've been seeing a lot of things that talk about micromanaging, and I just wanted to say, hey, it's not always just the manager. Sometimes folks feel a level of security and comfort in being micromanaged because everything's being reviewed. So it's a good and a bad, and we just need to find that balance. But as always, I want to hear from you. Please drop some comments if you like this video, if you want more detail about it, or if you found it, creative and fascinating. I want to hear from you guys. Also, don't forget to hit that like button and hit subscribe if you like this content in the channel and want to keep me motivated to keep going. I really love that and enjoy those subscriptions. And then lastly, hit that bell notification. That way you can be notified of different content whenever it comes available. Alrighty, I really do appreciate you guys. And at this point, I'm just going to keep moving. So see you in the next one.